Ah, it moved. Yep. Boing, 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 boing. Anyway, so, so then, yeah, the next movie we're talking about is the new Cronenberg called Crimes of the Future. Is that what it's called? I love how, like, I watch movies and I go, what was it about? Anyway, yeah, Crimes of the Future, new Cronenberg. I was, initially, like, super excited because I was like, boing, boing, boing. Like, new Cronenberg is dropping, so we got, like, insane body horror going on, and then weirdly sexual things that you're like, oh, wow, not me, but other people are learning about new kinks they didn't have, not me. Cronenberg definitely opens the door for a lot of people to be like, I didn't realize I was into that. And then they're like, it's like, oh, damn. Anyway, so this movie wasn't bad. I feel like on the scale of Cronenberg stuff, it's not Videodrome or The Fly, but it's not bad like Cosmopolitan. You know that movie? The one with Robert Pattinson in a limo and green screen for hours? Yeah, so it's not that. Yeah, it's kind of below the good stuff. It's not that one, but it's, yeah, so in this movie, it's kind of like futuristic-y, but, like, not in a, like, upgrade, like, it's, like, more dystopian. It's not, like, lush and green, like After Yang, but it's just kind of, like, dark and gritty, kind of shit. And, I was like, that's the wind. I was like, what's making sound? Anyway, so this one is, there's a couple, the French chick that we see in a bunch of things nowadays. I mean, she was in the James Bond movies, but I know her from, was it Blue is the Warmest Color? That 3-hour movie of watching her and another girl fuck, and I was like, okay, this is how I'm spending 3 hours, thank you, male director. Anyway, it's her and Viggo Mortensen. They're like a professional couple who are like artists, like it's performance art kind of thing, where like he's there and then she controls this freaking thing on her to like, these robo arms, and they do like surgery on him, and Viggo Mortensen's laying there like jizzing. He's like, like licking his lips, which, okay, I'm sorry, but it's weird seeing, like, for me, it's weird seeing Viggo Mortensen, like sexual like that. Like, I know he was Aragorn, and it was like, ooh, Aragorn, that kind of stuff. But I feel like, because that, like, felt more like the character, like, okay, Aragorn, he's, hotness. A very old man, but doesn't look like it kind of stuff. But then seeing Viggo Mortensen as Viggo Mortensen, and he's all, like, licking his lips, and, like, I was like, oh, that's just, I don't know, something about that just feels kind of weird and uncomfortable. Maybe after, because, like, Green Book had come out, and he had said, like, the N-word, like, it was okay. Maybe that's why my brain is like, fucked up. Anyway, so yeah, she's all like, and it's like cutting him open, all that shit. Apparently you could get like your organs, like tattoos on your organs, just cause it's a little secret between me and myself, and wow, my brain just stopped. But yeah, so it's that, and then there's Kristen Stewart and some guy who just, I don't know, looks like Jordan Peterson, sadly enough. Anyway, so they're in like this like illegal, does not exist group, and Kristen Stewart is like her character is just like enamored and just like with Viggo Mortensen's character, like hearing about all this stuff. Oh, and they're like putting in the little like scope thingies, and they're looking in, and they're like, wow, look at all this stuff. And I'm just like, that just immediately made me think of like the surgeries I've had where, you know, I've got a bunch of holes in my stomach, where they had to probe things and all that stuff. I mean, obviously I wasn't, could you imagine if I was awake during that? You know? Sorry. Made me think of my own shit. Just because, like, the placement of this, I was like, that's me. This movie is about me. I don't know, like, I've never related so much to a movie. This movie is about me, and I'm gonna make it my entire personality. But, I jokingly said that this movie's about me because it's about, like, freaking just body horror, which I am just the epitome of body horror. You can't tell, but I am. And just like his Viggo Mortensen's character feeling pain. Pain does not exist in this future, which, oh god, if only. I would love that, because I have horrible chronic pain. This wrist right now, fucking, like, this is the most motion I've done in a while. It hurts. It hurts. Funny enough, I said in the previous review how, like, I had a job for 2 months. Yeah, probably a month into the job, wrist started to hurt, you know? And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it used to be this one, now it's this one, and it still hurts. And, well, I mean, it's been about, like, a week not working, so, you know, that's not gonna go away that quickly. Anyway, yeah, pain doesn't exist in this future, which, god, if only, because anything, you know, like, I almost said nipple. I'm pointing down here and I'm about to say nipple. Navel, that's where my brain was going. Navel on down. It's like, you know? And then whatever is happening, what's happening in the Moneymakers, you know? I haven't done that in a while. But, anyway, yeah, so there's no pain in the future. And so, Viggo Mortensen's character still experienced pain, and everyone's just kind of like, what is that like? Pain? What is that like? Like, you know, they're like, it's like pain is like sexualized, and it's like, alright. And I get why, because, you know, like, obviously BDSM shit does exist, so yes, pain is sexualized, but it's like, this is like regular pain. Like, he's just like, my hernia. You know, and all these, like, chicks are like, ooh, you know, all that stuff. Like, during the performances of the, all that stuff, these chicks are out here with, like, things, and they're, like, cutting into, like, their foot, and they're like, It's like, alright, that's what you into, you know? Cutting into their foot, and they're, like, watching, like, it happen, and everyone's just like, Again, it's a fine movie. It's obviously very Cronenberg, you know, with the whole, you know, like, sexy holes, literally, you know? You know, of course, Cronenberg loves, like, he doesn't like the Y incision autopsy thing, but he loves to just cut down, especially in the stomach. He loves the lower abdomen cut, you know, and then it kind of opens up like a vagina, yeah, like a pussy, and then you're, like, digging in and stuff. Cronenberg loves that aesthetic, literally, that aesthetic of, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, there's one part where, like, they take out one of Viggo Mortensen's organs during one of the performances. It's got, like, a tattoo on it, and the audience is like, whoa! And then they put it in a jar, and I'm like, stop coming for my gig, people, you know? Yeah, it's just, oh, and then there's, like, they're trying to, like, so, this movie is definitely one of those, like, well, I signed up to watch this kind of movies. There's one part where, like, the French chick is laying there. Of course she's naked. I mean, I've seen her entire anatomy. It's like Linnea Quigley. You've seen her entire anatomy. Like, she's a French actress, so of course you're gonna end up seeing it. And funny enough, today is July 3rd, so freaking Return of the Living Dead, Linnea Quigley naked with that patch over the cooter thing that she does in the graveyard. Yeah, but yeah, so she's laying there naked. I'm like, hello, bits and pieces I've seen before. And she's on the like operating thing that Viggo Mortensen usually lies on and, you know, gets off on. And so he's all like with the thing instead of on here, like he's holding it like a controller, and then like it accidentally nicks her. She's like, oh god, and he's like, oh sorry, it's the machine. She's like, are you sure it's the machine? It's like them flirting, and then it keeps like nicking her, and she's like, ah, jizz, like all these like little nicks, and she's like, oh god, and then it's like the next shot is like him laying next to her, and they've all got these little like the nicks from the freaking, you know, surgical blade all over them, and they're like, and I'm like Cronenberg, you've been working, you're trying to work through something right now. It's been a while since you've done this, and you're really working through this. I also feel like, I don't know if this is the truth or not, but I feel like he had to like, it feels like he was like putting his son in his place, because his son did the Possessor or whatever that movie was with what's her name in it, you heard me, and that movie was like kind of like, okay, you know, obviously Cronenberg feel it runs in the family that things just kind of are weird like that. But I feel like he wanted to be like, I am the Cronenberg. Be like, you want weird body shit? You know, like, here we go, right here. Just this movie. Like I said, I enjoyed it. My criticism is, like, obviously it's a little silly, of course, because I took Videodrome a little bit more seriously. The Fly was fucking great, you know? I just seeing Viggo Mortensen all, like, sexual just felt kind of, it's like, ugh, to me, you know? Oh man, Kristen Stewart's character was down bad. Like I said, she was just like, oh yeah, they call the thing the new sex. She's like, surgery is sex, right? And he's like, what? She's like, it's the new sex. He's like, oh, and then also Viggo Mortensen's character is bad at the old sex, so he's fine with the thing. But then when Kristen Stewart's character is like flirting with him and then like trying to make out, he's like, oh my god, I'm awkward. Oh my glasses. Oh, awkward. It was just like. It's like those characters on, like, a show or movie that apparently is supposed to, you know, like, be, like, knee-deep in bitches, but then, like, when you see them, like, you know, they have, like, a perceived idea of being knee-deep in bitches, but then when they go out and try to talk to people, it's like, you know, the meme of no bitches, you know? It's like, wow, you really, okay. I mean, good on for, you know, pretending to have that persona, but anyway, oh yeah, like I said, the movie, like, the idea of it is interesting. It kind of, a little bit of it reminds you of, like, Repo, the Genetic Opera, about, like, the future stuff, about how, like, organs and surgery is just, like, a normal, like, a gross amount of surgery is normal. I mean, it does happen nowadays, but like this is more of like anyone could, like in this movie it's like anyone can perform surgery. I mean, you're doing it as like a fucking, you know, performance art, and it's like you know, all that stuff. Like there's one part where Viggo Mortensen has like a instead of the vertical scar, he's got a horizontal scar, kind of looking kind of cross-like, not really, but I'm gonna use that. And then like it's kind of open, like it's like, you know when you get cut deep and the wound talks, as I call it, you know. I mean, you should probably get stitches, but you know, American healthcare system, like that's not happening, and then you end up pulling like, you know, medical tape over it, so your parts are met like this, and yeah, anyway. So yeah, he has like a wound that's kind of talking, and then the lady just like the French chick just kind of gets down on her knees, and then just says something about like zippers, and there was a zipper put into his abdomen, and then she starts going like into the wound, you know. And Viggo Mortensen's like, and he's like, careful, don't let it spill? What? Careful, don't let it spill, because somehow there's no, like, tissue that holds everything together, and blah, 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 like, careful, don't let it spill, and she's like, you know, like, she's, like, in there, she's in, again, I like this movie, but it's just like, it's so silly. It's so silly, and everyone's like, everyone's there, and this movie, like, even though this movie, like, was released this year, and, you know, whatchamacallit, takes place in a supposed future, it has a very, like, mid to late 90s feel to it, probably because of, like, it has, like, a very, like, you know, like, when they went into the Matrix, and it was, like, those, like, dilapidated buildings, it has, like, that feel to it, and then also, like, the music was very, like, the background music was very, like, trip-hoppy, or, like, you know, mid-90s to late 90s, like, industrial Nine Inch Nails kind of feel to it, you know, like, some of the music I was like, okay, you know, so it as, even though it's a current film, it just has a, like, a 90s feel to it, like, musically and set-wise and stuff, but yeah, what else was there? Oh, there was, like, these ladies that were, like, the repair ladies for the chair. Oh my god, speaking of chair. So there's, okay, so there's, like, the bed where he gets the surgery stuff. Then there's, like, an eating chair. I don't know what the fuck the point of that chair is. Because, like, yeah, he's not very mobile, but he's still mobile. So you're in a chair, and the chair just moves. Like, the chair is like if H.R. Giger just made derpy looking things instead of it being, like, you know, like, biomech kind of sexy stuff that he does. It was just kind of like derpy limbs holding on to you, you know, like, and then it would just, like, move while you're trying to, like, eat your breakfast, and Viggo Mortensen's like, you know, and it's like, he has the plate on his lap, and the other hand can move, but it's like, the chair just keeps, like, doing all this weird stuff, and these repair ladies come in, and they're like, oh, you've got the chair, and you've got the bed, okay, and speaking all this jargon, like, well, okay, we'll fix it, shibbity-shaw, and it's like, okay, and at one point, when the French lady had them over to look at things, they just both, like, stripped off all their clothes and both, like, laid in the bed. They're like, do you think we could be part of the performance? And I'm like, you know, I just don't understand what that fucking chair was for. Because then the Jordan Peterson looking guy also had it too, but he was, like, way more able-bodied, you know? But, like, I mean, people say that about me, and I sometimes waddle because everything hurts so much. But yeah, like, that chair, and it's like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like the surgical bed makes more sense than that weird chair where he's trying to eat. And also, like, there's, like, a part where, like, he's trying to eat, and then the girl, the French chick, is, like, in the kitchen eating. And there's this thing, when it comes to, like, futuristic movies, apparently everyone always, like, in futuristic movies, don't have, like, utensils, but they're always eating straight from the pan with a wooden spoon. Like, that's how she'd even, like, pick up the piece of bacon with her hand and eat it. Well, this heat's getting to me. Didn't eat it in it. I can't believe I said that. But yeah, like, she didn't even, like, pick up the bacon to eat. She, like, picked it up with the spoon, which feels like so much longer of a journey to try to do that. And then she's like, the bacon. I don't know, man. This movie was weird, but again, it's Cronenberg, so it's like on what you would think you'd be expecting. Which was exactly what I was expecting anyway. But then, like, the movie didn't really have much of a story. It was just, like, things happening and kind of imagery. I just wish there was more body horror in it. Like, I wish things were, like, more grotesque, you know? And, like, sure, they can make it sexy if they want to, but, like, I just wanted, like, more nastiness. Like, the weird, like, dancey guy who had a bunch of ears all over him, I'm like, ah! Like, everyone's naked. You couldn't put a bunch of dicks on him, you know? Like, I felt like, well, might as well just go there, because the movie was just like, everyone's naked and fucking and all that stuff. You might as well just put a bunch of dicks on him and have him dance around and it gets all floppy. That's better than the ears. I mean, the prosthetic makeup stuff was great. I'm just like, oh my god, or do the South Park thing, it's a bunch of vaginas. That's what happens. Stan stopped eating me and he's turning into one big pussy. But yeah, that was Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future. It's Cronenberg. I just wish, like, it went, just, like, push it more, man. Just go to, like, God, like, I love the movie The Void, like, how they went with Crazy Body. Like, just go for it. Also, not a lot of blood in this movie. There was a little bit, but I'm like, for a movie with body horror, it was just kind of like everything was cauterized way too quick, and that made me upset. I want the with the and the like, I want that. Anyway, titties.